How's it going, everyone? Off the heels of yesterday's video where we talked about Microsoft and Xbox's fail in regards to Black Myth Wukong not being available on Xbox, and I think a lot of you guys kind of misunderstood what I was saying or just decided to not comprehend what I was saying. I feel like I was very transparent with my thoughts on the whole situation, and I don't think I was defending Microsoft at all in that video, which some people in the comment section were suggesting I was, when no way was I defending Microsoft. But nevertheless, once again, there was another instance, and this is obviously for a smaller title, but Intoria The Last Song, and this is a game that I certainly do see some interest in, has now also been delayed for Xbox Series. Now, this isn't related to Black Myth Wukong's reasoning, at least my perceived reasoning. If you watched yesterday's video, my perceived reasoning for Black Myth Wukong not releasing on Xbox is because I believe Black Myth Wukong cannot run at a acceptable performance level on the Xbox Series S, and as you guys know, Microsoft does require parity between the Series X and the Series S. The same thing happened with Baldur's Gate 3, and Baldur's Gate 3 ultimately got delayed. In Intoria The Last Song, the developers have already been open that this isn't a case of the game not being able to run on the Series S or having problems running on the Series S. They did put out a statement, and here's what it says. Hello, maskless ones. We are thrilled to be a few weeks away from Intoria The Last Song launching digitally on PC and PlayStation 5 on September 19th. We're also very excited to have physical PlayStation 5 editions coming a few months later. Intoria has been a passion project of ours for years, and we can't wait to see you bring the fight to the authors to put a finite end to the twisted eternal play. But even in the beautifully detailed world of Intoria, there is bound to be some darkness. Unfortunately, at this time, we have to announce an indefinite delay of the Xbox version. We understand how disappointing this news is to the Xbox community. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts and the hard work of our dedicated team, we've encountered challenges that have delayed our release on the Xbox platform. We want to emphasize that this is not a decision we've made lightly. We apologize for any disappointment this may cause and sincerely thank you for your understanding and patience. As a self-published indie studio, your support means everything to us, and we are dedicated to bringing Intoria to as many players as possible. We thank you for your continued support and understanding. We cannot wait to see you dive into the game on September 19th on PC and PlayStation 5. Now, that doesn't actually give us a level of transparency as far as why the game isn't on Xbox. However, they went on and said the only thing Sony did was work with us on getting the game ready on their platform. Microsoft, on the other hand, is taking 2 months to reply to our submission when we have the game practically ready for both Series S and Series X. And there was an update where they were speaking to Insider Gaming as well. The studio has gone back and forth with various Xbox support staff for months, but is still unable to open its store page to submit the game for release. As for any speculation regarding Xbox Series S, Greco said Intoria The Last Song runs fine on the hardware with some minor graphical tweaks. So at least not the same reasoning, at least perceived reasoning for Black Myth Wukong, because GameScience was never actually open about why Black Myth Wukong was delayed on Xbox. It was just left to us speculating, and that's why I think some people, not me, some people, let me reiterate that, I don't think Sony paid for exclusivity. I feel like some of you guys were unable to listen to that video. Some people thought there might have been some sort of exclusivity agreement in place. I do not think there was some sort of exclusivity agreement in place. There is certainly no exclusivity agreement in place, and the developers of Intoria are already eliminating that by being transparent with the situation and what's going on. It is another fumble by Microsoft, and I've heard that sometimes working with Microsoft support staff and getting stuff on Xbox is a little bit of an issue. Now, if that was the reasoning and the issue for, let's say, Black Myth Wukong, guys, it wouldn't be an issue. Black Myth Wukong is at that level where if they drum up something on social media, if they say something, something's gonna get wind of it and they are going to figure it out. Intoria The Last Song, at least at this point, does not have that level of hype and anticipation. Can it certainly come out and be a significant success? Absolutely. And you want to make sure that games like this don't get lost in the shuffle. And this is a game where I look at it and yes, it's another action Souls-like action RPG, but it's got a really cool setting, and I can easily see this game coming out and being one of those games that surprises a lot of people, like a Lies of P. I think Lies of P was a game that there was certainly a level of interest in that game, but then suddenly it became a lot bigger than people imagined. I could easily see Tori of the Last Song being a game like that if it does deliver from a quality standpoint, and you don't want to just hand over more timed console exclusives to Sony. Like, what are we doing here? I don't care if this game isn't at the level of Black Myth Wukong. The game is ready to go to be released on Xbox Series S and X. Unless we don't have all of the information, why isn't this game coming out on Xbox? Why isn't Microsoft aware of a situation like this? Because it's not like Intoria is some shovelware game that the two people are gonna buy. No, I do think there's a level of interest in this game that, sure, it's not Black Myth Wukong, but it's not a, you know, there's levels to this. It doesn't have to be, I don't know, I don't want to crap on some game that's coming out, but the smallest game in the world versus Black Myth Wukong, there's a happy medium, and Tori the Last Song is a game that I do think there's a level of interest in the game. I do think it's a game that has potential to pop off. Why are we not able to get this game on Xbox? And it's another fumble by them, and let me reiterate again, and maybe this is where you guys are confusing it when I am saying this, I do not want Xbox to fail. I do not want situations like this to happen for Xbox, because for you guys that are the hardest of hardcore PlayStation fans, and I feel like some of you guys are like that PlayStation Elite Defense Task Force where PlayStation can do no wrong, guys, I am telling you right now, for the long term, for the bigger picture, you don't want a situation where Microsoft is completely out of the console game, or PlayStation just has no competition, and that is where we are inching closer and closer into, and that is not a place you want to be, because then PlayStation can just get away with doing anything. Yes, I know some of you guys are like, well, Concord was a gigantic failure, that should be enough. Sure, Concord was a gigantic failure, but in a vacuum, they're gonna lose $100 million or however much money they're gonna lose, and then they're gonna be like, they can potentially be, I shouldn't say they are gonna be like, they can potentially be like, well, that's just one live service game failure, let's just throw a bunch more at the wall and hopefully one of them sticks. It's a lot more of a pressure-filled situation when you do have a direct competitor at your heels, right coming after you, and it is a competitive environment. Right now, it is just not a competitive environment, and I know what Phil Spencer and Microsoft and everybody's saying that, you know, Xbox is a console, maybe those days are gonna come to an end, maybe Game Pass is really the service that they're looking for. I don't care. Still, you should do anything in your power to not just give Sony free W's, and in this case, it's not even just giving Sony a free W, it's giving your Xbox fans, the Xbox owners, an L. Let's eliminate Sony from this equation for a second. Who cares about them getting a W for a second? It's giving your console owners a gigantic L again, and gigantic may be a little bit hyperbolic for a game on the scale of Tori of the Last Song, but in conjunction with everything else going on. In a vacuum, again, if you assessed Tori of the Last Song and it not being on Xbox, maybe not a big deal. If everything was going swimmingly, this ain't gonna be a big deal. However, in conjunction with not getting Black Myth Wukong, in conjunction with you guys having a rather lackluster first-party output for how many years, why are you just giving up multi-platform titles like this? On top of that, in a period where Sony actually doesn't have a lot of big games coming out, this would be a good opportunity for you to at least take advantage of that, but now you're just giving them free console exclusives. They're not even paying for them anymore. It's just by your own negligence at this point that this is happening, and it's obviously like this shouldn't even be happening, but I digress. It's just a bummer to me to see this. I want Xbox to do as good as possible. That's what I said in the other video that I think some of you guys took it as me trying to build up Xbox. No, I just want a healthy, competitive environment, and I know what's gonna happen. Look, if Sony wasn't around back in 2013 to immediately punish Xbox when they went for the always online no-use game nonsense, Xbox would have gone through with that, or likely would have gone through with that, or at least had a lot more reason to go through with that, but they immediately got that check from Sony. Sony made that incredible used game video, and, you know, the rest is history, and they got directly punished for that. You need that environment. You need consequences for mistakes, and right now, Sony, yes, they are losing money on a game like Concord, but there is no consequence in the sense that they're actually losing market share, which is ultimately what they really care about, because it's all about building that ecosystem. And right now, Sony's ecosystem, even without any games, is flourishing, and Microsoft's is faltering, and a big reason for that is because of the lackluster games, and they're not able to capitalize in a lot of areas where Sony is failing and giving them an opportunity to capitalize. At least that's how I perceive it. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.